There are fatalities, but also many people are injured. People are losing property, their lifetime work. Entire cities and towns are underwater. This is what the losses look like, and at this time we heard from the government a proposal to help, but on credit. What will the government's aid to flood victims actually look like? Today, I took a closer look at the situation. We also want to add to this pool in low-interest loans of about 100 million zloty, low-interest loans of 1.5 to 2.5%. Ultimately, this money will be able to go to the elimination of the effects of the flood. But in this area of restoring security, restoring water management, environmental protection, restoring normal living conditions in localities where the waters will recede, which are flooded today. This is a shocking proposal in view of the tragedy that has befallen hundreds of thousands of residents of southern Poland. The devastation is enormous and continues to grow, and the threat remains grave. Estimating the magnitude of the losses is still continuing. Therefore, the announcement of aid on credit is incomprehensible to many, also within the ruling coalition. It is incomprehensible to me in the face of a national tragedy to propose a loan to people who have lost their life's possessions. A moment ago I answered the question and I will stick to it. I can't imagine anyone daring to propose to compatriots who have lost the possessions of their lives a loan, and I wonder at how much interest. Maybe they should still bring the guarantors. Scandal. Donald Tusk speaks of the need to help and indicates that he will find an additional billion zloty to help flood victims. We have made a decision today to increase the size of this emergency aid from 6,000 to 8,000 zloty, and this is what we will pay. The total, 10,000 zloty, except that it's still not enough. A minister in Donald Tusk's government talks about a loan. What does the Prime Minister say about it? These proposals also apply to non-refundable aid. Here we are not talking about any loans, but non-repayable aid of up to 100,000 zloty when it comes to the repair of apartments and farm buildings that suffered in the floods, and up to 200,000 zloty when it comes to the reconstruction of residential buildings. This is what I would say for a start. Such an amount may not be enough either. The compensation from PZU paid during the 2010 floods amounted to nearly 653 million zloty. And the scale of the damage is already greater. Donald Tusk says it should be 10,000 zloty. This is definitely not enough. Donald Tusk proposes up to 200,000 zloty for the reconstruction of buildings, up to 100,000 zloty for the reconstruction of farm buildings. These, ladies and gentlemen, are too low amounts. For such amounts, it is impossible to rebuild anything. It is impossible to rebuild a house. So much so that there is already a shortfall of 3 billion zloty for the current invoices issued by hospitals. And next year's budget records a record debt reaching almost 60% of GDP. In our project, we have guaranteed the reconstruction, 100% coverage of the cost of reconstruction, of course, through the action of experts, appraisers, so that it was all transparent. Help for the flood victims is needed immediately and without loan guarantors. Editor Holdinska, Republika.